Hello and welcome to this PriceAJob tutorial. In this video we'll be discussing the Floor Finishes module in PriceAJob. To access the Floor Finishes module, navigate to the Internal Finishes module here in the module toolbar and select Floor Finishes. This opens the Floor Finishes categories and you can choose from tiles, laminate, carpet, engineered and solid wood, or vinyl. At this stage it doesn't really matter which you choose, because you'll have the option to change your selection once we're inside the module. Let's start with tiles. And click Create. This opens the Floor Finishes module, and here in the sidebar we can change the style of flooring we're about to estimate to either tiles, laminate, carpet, engineering and solid wood, or vinyl. Next, we'll let the system know whether this is a new installation, a replacement, or decorating only. If it's a replacement, a new stage is added to account for the removal and disposal of the old flooring. If it's a decorating only job, the various other stages are also removed except for the decorating stage alone. To start, let's take a look at a replacement job, as that will give us the most in-depth look at this module. We'll start by inputting the area of the floor to be replaced. In this case we can simply input 21 square meters. As soon as we do, PriceAJob is able to make a series of calculations to provide an instant quote based on some default assumptions. If you don't know the area measurement of the floor that you are replacing, PriceAJob offers a variety of methods to calculate this figure. To start with, we can use the area calculator by clicking on this icon here. This opens the area calculator, and at the bottom we can click Add to add a measurement. PriceAJob makes it easy by allowing us to either input the direct measurement if we know, or we can choose from a variety of shapes, including a right trapezoid, a square, a quadrilateral, a right triangle, a triangle, a circle, or a semicircle. Let's start with the most basic, a square, and we'll simply input the dimensions of our room, say 2 meters by 3. PriceAJob automatically calculates this as an area of 6 square meters, and we'll save that to the calculator. But perhaps this room is irregularly shaped, so let's add another section of flooring. This time we will add a right trapezoid, and we'll set the measurements of this one as 3 meters on the left side, 3 meters on the front, and 2 meters on the right side. PriceAJob is able to calculate this area as 7.5 square meters. We can save that to the calculator, and combined with our square section, we now have a total of 13.5 square meters. But what if these combined sections include an area which is not going to be refloored, like perhaps a hallway opening or a staircase landing? In that case, we'll simply add another section. Let's choose a square this time, and we'll set the size of our opening as 1 meter by 3. And this time, rather than adding this section, we will change the operation from a plus to a minus, and this will deduct this area from our total. So we'll go ahead and save, and you can see that now our area has been reduced to 10.5 square meters. A square area of 6 square meters, a trapezoid area of 7.5 square meters, and a hallway opening of 3 square meters that has been removed. If we've made an error, we can simply click on the operator to reverse it from a plus to a minus symbol. If we need to edit that, we can click the Edit button, and it will bring us back into the calculation screen. Or if we need to remove it, we can simply click the trash icon to remove that measurement. Let's add that measurement back in. And this time, because we've already pre-calculated the area of our opening, we can just input the area as 3 square meters. Change the operator to a minus, and save that to our calculator. So now our total area is 10.5 meters. We can continue making adjustments as necessary, and when we're done, save our calculation. And now the main stage has been updated with an area of 10.5 square meters. At any time, if we need help remembering how we came by this calculation, we can click on the area calculator, and all of our work is saved here. Now there is another method that we can use to calculate this area. Let's remove all these sections. PriceAJob includes a Rooms tab, and here we can input the dimensions of the various rooms. We can also access the Rooms tab by clicking on our area calculator and selecting Rooms. To see these rooms in further detail, or to edit the dimensions, we can click the Edit Rooms button. And here we can see all of our various rooms arranged by floors. And these don't have to be an actual floor. As you can see, We can use a floor to represent a separate location, such as outbuildings, or a main house, or a garage, or an annex. Within each floor or location, we can have different rooms or floor levels, etc. For example, we can have the garage and the summer house. Or on the first floor, we can show all the various bedrooms and toilets. To add a new floor or location, scroll to the bottom and select Add Floor. This creates a new floor that we can customize. We'll call this one Basement. And within this level, we can add various rooms. So for example, we can call this one Playroom. And we'll set its floor area at 18 square meters with a total perimeter of 22 meters. If we need to adjust the height, we can do so. And based on these figures, PriceAJob automatically calculates the area of the walls. It's advisable to set these up in advance to make all of your calculations easier. When we're done, we'll close this window. And now we'll see that in the Rooms tab, that the basement playroom has been added to our list. This makes calculating the floor area much faster because now all we need to do is select the room that we'll be renovating and click the plus icon to add that to our area calculator. So for this example, let's leave the basement alone for now, and let's say that we'll be retiling the kitchen and the ensuite. So this is a total of 15 square meters. We can save that to our calculator, and that updates our main stage with 15 square meters. And again, if we need to be reminded how we came by that calculation, we can click on the area calculator to see the calculations. Now, PriceAJob excels in its versatility, and it even offers a third option to calculate the area of your flooring. You'll notice that for this project that we've already created a few other modules for the concrete floor and the external and internal walls. PriceAJob recognizes the calculations we've made in these modules and stores these in the PriceAJob library, which we can access here. And from the various ground floors modules that we have created, it will show you a list of those here. We can simply select the one that is relevant to the current project, and it will be added to our calculator. We'll remove the ones that are irrelevant, and save our changes. And this updates the area for tiling to 22 square meters. Next, we have a few options for subflooring, leveling floor, or waterproofing. If we select subflooring, then we can select whether we'll be using plywood or HardiePlank for tiles, and then select the grade we wish to use. If we'll be leveling the floor with self-leveling compound, this opens a new stage, and here we can select the compound that we prefer to use, and based on the area, 22 square meters, PriceAJob does the calculation to let us know how much compound we'll require. We can also specify the thickness of the compound, in this case let's say 5 millimeters. And PriceAJob updates the amount of compound that we'll require. If we only have the one job, we can round that to the next highest figure. And next we can estimate the waterproofing. And this would be used for a shower room, a walk-in shower, or a bathroom. And here we just simply select the kit, either selected from the PriceAJob library, or we can set a waterproof matting allowance, or if it will be supplied by the client. We'll specify that this one is supplied by the client. And notice that our description automatically updates that the waterproof floor with waterproof matting will be supplied by the client. Alternatively, we can set a waterproof matting allowance, and we can set that at £12 per square meter. And that updates our automatic description. Next, we'll take a look at the removal and disposal of the old floor. To calculate this, we'll click on the Select box, and this opens the PriceAJob library. And this presents us with a variety of options for removing existing finishes. Under this category, we can remove existing floor finishes, such as linoleum sheeting, carpet and underlay, screed, softwood floorboard, ceramic tiles, laminate flooring, glued linoleum, glued carpet, or existing flooring. For this example, let's remove a linoleum sheeting. And we'll set this at 15 square meters. And for the ensuite, we'll remove laminate flooring, and we'll set that at 7 square meters. And PriceAJob provides us with an estimate as to how much the cost will be to remove the linoleum and laminate flooring. In addition, it also calculates the volume of the waste to be disposed, and recommends a disposal container, either a rubble sack or a variety of skips or lorries. In this case, they suggest that 18 rubble sacks should do the job, but if we prefer to use a 2-yard skip, we can do so. Now we can take a look at actually tiling the floor. We have options to tile with either ceramic, porcelain, or stone. Each of these materials involves a different installation rate, with stone being the most expensive, and ceramic being the least. Then we can specify the floor tiles that we'll be using, whether they are supplied by client, or we can just set a floor tile allowance, or we can set floor tiles. For this case, let's choose a floor tile allowance, and we'll set the allowance at £25 per square meter plus VAT. Price of Job automatically updates the description to show that our floor tiles allowance is £25 plus VAT per square meter, labour included. Alternatively, if the client will be supplying the tiles, we can select Supplied by Client, and our description is updated with a red X to show an exclusion that the floor tiles will be supplied by the client, however labour is still included. Next, we'll estimate the plinth, and to do so we'll input the length of the perimeter of plinth required. The perimeter is automatically calculated based on the area of a square room. If we need to modify this, if the room is irregularly shaped, we can use the perimeter calculator, and either add specific shapes or select from our various rooms. In this case, we'll stay with the square room. Then we can modify the height of the plinth if required, and select the plinth type. If we won't be installing a plinth on this flooring, we can simply deselect this stage. Next we'll take a look at the grouting, and this will depend on the type of tile that we'll be using. A mosaic tile will require much more grouting, whereas larger tiles will require less. So for example, let's set our tile size to 20mm square, and you can see the grouting cost estimate will be over £500. If we change the tile size to 600mm square, the cost of the grouting decreases dramatically. Likewise, we could also set the grout thickness. In this case, if we increase the thickness to 5mm, that will increase the cost of the grout. And we can choose the type of grout that we'll be using, either supplied by client, allowance, or the various size bags that we might choose from. In this case, we'll choose a 10kg bag. And we can see if we look in our stage, under the grouting stage, that the system has automatically calculated the quantity of bags required. In this case, about half a bag would do, so we might override that and increase that to 1 full bag. This highlights in yellow to let us know that we have overridden this value. Next, we can estimate for any accessories required, so we'll do that by clicking on Accessories, and that opens the Accessories select box. And here we have a variety of categories including sealants, flooring accessories, flooring underlay, tiles accessories, tile trims, waterproofing kits, self-leveling compound, Scotia beading, Hardibacker, plywood, screws, and floor adhesives. So for this example, let's take a look at the flooring accessories, and we might add some pipe collar, a threshold T-bar, and some aluminium door strip. If we need to adjust the quantities, we can do so here at the top. Next, we might add a bit of foam underlay, and perhaps we'll need some tile spacers. When you're done selecting your accessories, close the window, and you'll see that there's a stage been added with all of your accessories and the labor calculated to install all accessories. Now perhaps we might have different flooring requirements for different rooms. If we needed to add a separate room, what we could do is change the title of this particular module, so we'll call this Tiles for Kitchen. And then we can go to the side here and duplicate this module. And now we'll go to the new module and retitle it. So we'll call this one Tiles for Ensuite. And we'll simply change the floor area here to 6 square meters. And we'll see now, if we look at our Reports tab, that our quote will separate the floor finishes by Tiles for Kitchen and Tiles for Ensuite. And we have detailed descriptions for each. If we choose to, we can show an advanced quote that shows the pricing breakdown for all the materials, labor, and plant and tool. If we wish to show the breakdown without the individual costs, we can remove the price from that to show a simple table of quantities. Another option for the flooring finishes includes laminate. And for this we can specify the laminate flooring allowance as well as the underlay. Another option might be carpeting. For carpeting, we can calculate the number of gripper rods, and again the perimeter is automatically calculated based on the area we've input above for a square room, and if we need to adjust that, we can do so using the perimeter calculator here. You'll also have to specify whether the carpeting is to be glued or not. Glued carpeting is required for commercial flooring, and when we select this, the adhesive is automatically added to our stage. Here we can see in the carpet floor stage that the carpet adhesive has been automatically added. For engineered or timber floor, we can select whether we require vapor control or not. And this is particularly required for ground floors or concrete floors, and this adds a membrane beneath, and we can see this reflected in the sketch as well as in a new stage called vapor control. And we can select the type of underlay that we choose to use. If we opt to glue the flooring, a membrane is not required, so the option is removed. Unfinished flooring may require decorating, and here we can select whether we'll be using gloss, oil, wood stain, or varnish, and then we can click Preparation to factor in any holes or cracks that need to be filled, sand and fill, removal of paint, wet cleaning, pressure wash, and smoothing. We can also add here any fillers, adhesives, sealants, primers and undercoats, gloss paints, wood stain, wood oil, and varnish that we may require. Vinyl flooring is very much the same. And that's how to use the Floor Finishes module. Thank you for using Pricer Job.